So link building sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, but we know we've got to do it. If you've got this far, you know you got to do it, but sometimes it doesn't really generate the results that you're looking for. The algorithms are changing, and we just don't always know the best way to do it. But actually, strategy one is nothing to do with link building itself. It's to do with content. So everyone tells you need to be posting content, and some of you may have just got lazy, or maybe you just don't have the time to be posting content or blogs, and that's fine because we're all overworked and we just need a holiday. We don't have time to do content, but I'm going to tell you why it is so necessary for your link building, particularly in service-based businesses, and how you can just do that with very little effort and no actual cost. And this strategy isn't as effective for e-commerce sites, it is generally more effective for a service-based site. But let me illustrate a picture. So the way I see Google's algorithm working now is if you're acquiring a lot of links, Google wants to see that your site is actively posting content or updating content, because why would you be getting a lot more links than, say, a competitor if you're just not doing anything on your site? And also, I don't know if you've heard, but some people claim that they can do no link building and just become a topical authority within that niche. So just by posting a lot of content related to their services, they can actually rank. And this is true. But if you couple this with link building, you get growth on rocket fuel, you get insane growth. And I'm just going to illustrate, it doesn't have to just be blog content, it can be new service pages. If you're not ready to be posting blogs yet, you just have to be posting something. And actually, we've been doing this for a client. A client is link building with us, and he essentially started around here. He came to us because he was using a link provider that he believed was building rubbish links, and he started to see a massive drop in his traffic. So we started around August in 2022, but we managed to grow the domain back up to where it was, but only to see another drop in the December update. And we did this again with little success. And just as an approach to him, I asked him if he was doing any content posting, to which he said no, he was not working on the site whatsoever. I proposed that we just post 4 blogs a month, AI written articles, because we didn't really want to do content. We just wanted to post stuff around his services. So this is a dermatology clinic. So he does like mole removals, lymphoma removals, anything related to dermatology. And we just said that we're going to start posting some blogs that say, should I get my mole checked? Or what are these growths on the skin to be worried about? Should I be worried about X or Y? And then linking to the service. So on the mole removal blog, we would link internally to the mole removal page. Simple as that. We would also link to the homepage with things like Dermatologist London, because that is a main keyword for the homepage. We started this in around July when I saw the drop again. And ever since then, we've seen parabolic growth. Now, a lot of this growth is from the blogs. Actually, these blogs are ranking very well. Some of them are ranking in positions 1. So if we look at top pages, we can see that some of the top blogs are ranking very well. We can see this blog has 4,000 traffic. This blog has 3,000 traffic. And we can see quite a few more as we scroll down. So there's another one here and another one here. So naturally you're like, well, a lot of this traffic is just inflated because it's blogs, which is kind of true. But in theory, these blogs are also top of the funnel. So if someone was interested and wondering, if someone was curious of the problems that they're facing, they're likely at some point to get some services, because perhaps a lot of these aren't actually curable themselves. So they're going to go see a specialist, albeit it's going to be a much lower percentage than people directly looking for the services, but that's besides the point. If we actually look at their organic keywords since February 2023, we can see that a lot of the keywords related to the services have drastically increased. We can see this one, cyst removal near me, 14 to 4. We can see quite a few of these other ones massively increase, and this client is now seeing record traffic. And all we have done is posted 4 AI blogs a month. It's literally nothing. It's free. We just format it with images, and it's just something that you can absolutely take advantage of. And something that I want to touch on in there as well, I have seen a lot of sites that's pummeling links into the site but not posting any content, and because of that they've actually got punished. I believe that Google kind of sees it as more of a spam filter now, in that it compares you to other people in your sector. So if you have 200 pages but you're retrieving 100 links a month compared to a competitor who's posting 50 pages a month and has 1,000 pages but only getting 30 or 40 links. So it's just looking natural in your sector as well. So it's a double whammy of importance, and you could actually reduce your link building budget and actually put some of that cost into content if you wanted it to be the best form of content. I don't recommend using this for your service-based pages. I would recommend writing that and tailoring it yourself to really push your services. But for the blogs, it doesn't really matter. You can just put out AI content, it doesn't hurt, and that can just keep your content going whilst you prepare those service-based pages. But it's up to you to decide how you want to do that. But that's strategy number 1. And strategy number 2 is linking to pages that generate ROI for starters. Secondly, that your page is correctly attributed to just not the best keyword volume that you can see, but by actually looking that the search results reflect the exact service that you're offering. And I'll go into an example of that shortly. And thirdly, just making sure that you can actually compete for the term. So we're going to start with that one. So imagine you're trying to rank a site in mortgages. If you were going up against the big players for a buy-to-let mortgage or mortgages in general, you're going to be competing with massive aggregator sites, as well as just huge mortgage providers such as banks. You literally have no chance. But you've specialized as a mortgage advisor and you want to get some private work online. How do you do it? Well, first off, you start by searching for unique products that you can offer. You start to find sites that are ranking in the top results with very little DR that you can compete with. And I actually found one in the mortgage space. It's called a buy-to-sell mortgage. I don't really know what that means, the exact details, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, I found this site called expertmortgageadvisor.co.uk, and if we put this into Ahrefs, we can see that this site, albeit massive drop, is actually ranking alright in the mortgage space. If I take a look at this one here, he's actually ranking number 1. I mostly checked this one because I saw it a lot before when it was way up here looking good. But I think the main reason is that site's not actually that good. And this one probably looks a lot better. I haven't looked at it. I imagine it's down to content, etc., or just increased competition. But if we take a look at the mortgage chart, they have 435 referring domains and 34k traffic. And that is in the mortgage space. That is good traffic. But if we actually look at the referring domains, if we go to more filters, we go to backlink type in content, and we can see that they actually only have 85 do follow referring domains, and only a small portion of these are over DR30. You're not going to be building these very, very low DRs. So you would just do DR from 30 plus, because generally we don't build anything below that. And anything above DR30, I imagine you are all very aware of the slowness sometimes. Let's just refresh this. 32 domains. That's nothing. You just have to build 32 do follow domains. Granted, you need to do a little bit of PR to get these Metro Guardians, and a lot of these other links would just likely be filler links like citations, forum links, etc. Stuff you can pretty much get for free or very, very low cost. So what you would then do is you would go into the organic keywords of this site. You would go into the keywords for this site and you would take a look at what they're ranking for. So we've got bad credit mortgage. Maybe you don't want to provide that. We've got renovation mortgage. We've got land mortgage, mortgage for land, joint borrower sole proprietor mortgage at 8. Can you get a mortgage and benefits? A blog, land mortgages, mortgage for renovations. If you were to look at one that was slightly weaker, you could look at this site. We could take a look at their organic keywords. We can see for this site, they have actually dropped for a lot of keywords. Obviously they're suffering, but there's some more here like equity release, buy to let, and another single person mortgage, right to acquire mortgage. This is how you would find less competitive keywords in a super competitive market in the likes of something like mortgages. That's step 1. By finding these keywords, you can also start to do that. And what you can also dive into as well is you can actually open up the SERPs on these and you can start to look at the sites that are actually ranking for it. So we can see that the mortgage chart is number 1 and this one here is the strongest of DRs. We got USwitch here, but generally it's favoring these weaker sites. So I would be happy with this. If we saw at the top here, DR80, DR90, DR90, and it said that the keyword difficulty was low, I would not expect to get anywhere past the 90s, for example. I would be happy with a position 4 if these three were 90s. So just looking at who is above you, if you get to say number 4, and just tone down your link building there, because you'll just be overdoing it. You're never going to outrank them. Just go find another keyword that you can start to rank better, because you'll just be wasting resources trying to outrank this, wondering why it's not moving. So that's just something to keep in mind as well when looking at specific keywords, because it might be that this site is ranking number 5, but everything above is just super strong, so you're less likely to get there. So just taking a look at the DR of the sites above. Now the second point on this is just looking at whether that page provides ROI, and if it is your business, you absolutely know this, but if you were selling something that's low value, or it just really doesn't generate that much for you, there's no point link building to it. And you can actually use PPC to find out whether this is true for you, especially if your business is much smaller. Try out the keywords on PPC, and if it generates you good revenue, good return, and the average order value is high, then probably a good link building target. And the final step for this strategy is just making sure that your page is themed right. And you might think it is, but have you actually done the research around this? Because I regularly see a lot of clients missing the mark on this, and I'm going to break this down into two smaller parts. For starters, I'm going to take a look at a previous client, and this is their page, Home Blood Test. Now, they have done some shady link building. They did a huge redirect from a huge pharmacy site that they just picked up, but we can kind of look at essentially what they have done. For the purpose of this, I can kind of explain where they went wrong on this specific page. So if we take a look at the links they have done before, we can see this page actually has quite a lot of links, but I've opened these up. So taking a look at these, we can see a lot going to the actual URL, but if we take a look at this one here, so their page actually used to be private blood test. And the reason for that is because of the keyword volume. So if we take a look at keyword volume, so we can see that their new page is called Home Blood Test. Let's put in private blood test, see if we can get the data quickly. Okay, so private blood test, we can see that the volume is 5,300. But if we search blood test at home, we can see that the volume is actually only 450. So the biggest term, so at home blood test. So it's much smaller, so they felt going after private blood test would be the best option. And if we actually just go back to that, we can take a look at the top results. So if we take a look at these, it's Nuffield Health, we got MediChecks, private blood tests, Bupa. So this one is Nuffield Health, and it actually says that you can purchase the blood test online. But if we go into it, we can just say, maybe do an allergy test. I selected this one, must have been from 4. You actually have to go in for the appointment. Now if we take a look at this one, optimal blood health test, book a venous draw at a clinic, book a venous draw at home with a nurse. So this one is, you have to go in person, but they also do one at home where they actually do it with a nurse, but I believe Google can actually tell. And this one is actually through UK hospitals. So all of these are actually, you need to go into a clinic, whereas Wellzo actually offers only online tests that you have to send in. So Google knows the search intent of the keyword, and you cannot fool that. So you need to look whether that keyword actually reflects your actual offering. If it's not your exact offering in the top few results, then it is not the right keyword for you, and you will not rank for it. And this was the problem that they faced. They thought by sending hundreds of links at this page, they would be able to rank it, and just nothing happened. So if we put this URL into Ahrefs and take a look at what happened before, it just didn't really get anywhere. It just absolutely tanked. And it was redirected much later in 2023. It just got a little bit far and then just did nothing. And now I've actually gone to the keywords that they're ranking for, and it really wasn't much. There was just Wellman blood test, sport blood test private. It wasn't even the main keyword, and they sent a lot of links to this. So if we actually take a look here, it's at 48, and it was actually a lot more before. I don't know what's happened to them. or Ahrefs just not registering as much, but they sent 48 links to this page that never even did a thing, and a lot of those anchors were around private blood tests. So just making sure that you have your page stream right will take you a long way. And this actually touches on another thing that I want to talk about. Make sure your page has the expected things Google wants to see for that term. So for example, if it's an e-commerce term that reflects a category, maybe someone is looking for a product but they don't know what one they want, it would expect to be a category page, not a specific product. Maybe they're looking for chalk paints. You're not going to rank a single chalk paint for that. You would expect to rank a category. But just taking a look at the terms, I used to run a mobility scooter e-commerce, and we had a page for mobility scooters which was just a few images and just links to specific pages, but it just never ranked. We sent a few links to it, and I knew that there was something wrong with the page. I just hadn't finished the new design yet. But as soon as we rolled out the new design with a proper category page linking to all the subcategories with some nice content on, which it already had before, that page just absolutely skyrocketed. So if you look at the term that you're trying to rank for and all the other pages have a unique style, such as a category page, you're not really going to rank a service-based page with a lead form if nobody else is ranking for it currently. So just make sure your page is themed properly. And that covers the two strategies for 10xing your link building without actually spending anything, just a bit of knowledge and a little bit of free work, just your time. And just a bonus tip, if we're looking at private blood tests, which I think we are, make sure you vary your anchors. And a great way to find varied anchors is if we just go to this, just put the URL into Ahrefs of the top ranking site. You can find all of those specific anchors for that page. So we can see here, we got private blood test, private blood test, private blood test near me, blood test UK, blood test private. If they're ranking well for this, this is a potential anchor. Another thing is be consistent with your link building. Don't build a load and then just stop. Make sure you're just consistently building, but maybe just spend less, but make sure you're consistent. It goes a long way. But guys, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Any comments are welcome on your thoughts or link. Obviously, a lot of this is speculation. We just try and replicate what works. This seems to be what works for all of my clients. If you have any thoughts, do leave them below, and appreciate you watching. Thanks.